Panthers win Game 6, 7-5 here in FLA Live Arena against the Boston Bruins in the freaking classic playoff game that we'll never forget for the rest of our fucking lives. Okay, I said it. So, how do they do? Let's find out. Okay. First off, there is no first off. I just have no words to even describe how I'm feeling about this game. The neutral hockey fan will say to you that this is so far the best playoff hockey game of this year, maybe of all time. But I digress on that because this is clearly the best Panther playoff game I've ever seen in my freaking life. We played our hearts out, and we were just trying to survive. That's really all. We're trying to survive to Game 7, go up to Boston and try to shock the world like we did tonight. But to do that here in Sunrise, on one of the most improbable and the most craziest hockey games I've seen in my entire life. And I've been watching hockey for about 9 years. And it's crazy to even think of that. I have so many hockey games I watch. So many clutch games I watch. None of them. And I mean none of them compared to this one right here. So, let's talk about it. If there's one thing I can count on by saying this, power play disasters. So for our first goal, it was actually our own power play goal with Montour. Montour had to sneak one in from the left side. It was actually not only a power play, but a 3-on-4. So there was 2 Boston players in the penalty box. Then we gave up our penalty. And guess who really scored on the power play? It was Tyler Bertuzzi. Tyler Bertuzzi knows how to score a power play goal. And guess who was part of the goal points? Brad Marchand. In my opinion, Panther killer. So, power play goal by Bertuzzi. A few minutes later, we had a wide open net, and it was Tkachuk again. Tkachuk shoots one in to the back of the net, and it scores now 2-1 in the first period. Then, in the second period, on a bogus hooking call from the referees that Ekblad had to go into the penalty box, it was Pastrnak with the power play goal to tie the game 2-2. And then, in a few minutes later, to recapture the lead, guess who it was? He's no longer a ghost. He's no longer something. He's no longer Casper. He is the captain, Alexander Barkov. Yes, I said it. Barkov scored tonight 3-2. That's only his first goal of this playoff series, and it came in Game 6. And throughout the game, there was some pushing and shoving. There was a penalty given up from Florida. And surprisingly, we actually killed off that penalty. But it didn't matter because after that, it was actually Bertuzzi. Second goal of the game to tie the game up. And I'll say this before I begin. We were actually losing 3-2 at one point in the second period. This was after the Pastrnak goal. I forgot who it was that scored. I think it was Bergeron. I could be wrong. I apologize. I'm not good at Boston names. But there was a coach's challenge in the second period, right before the Barkov goal, actually. So it had been 7 minutes into the second period. So what happened was one of the Boston players actually touched the puck with the left fingertips, and it seemed as though as we beat the Bucks anyway. The puck actually ricocheted off to the puck of the hands of the Boston players, but according to the rule, as long as if the puck was sent off to a different player from the hands, it's a hand pass. So by rule, it's a no-goal. And Coach Maurice challenged it, and it was a successful challenge. So it went from 3-2 Boston to 3-2 Florida because Barkov scored. However, third period, Bertuzzi ties the game up 3-3, and it was a defense that was just collapsed near Bobrovsky. And, oh boy, it gets fucking worse. It gets worse. Montour gets called for a roughing call. But here's my problem with this call. A lot of NHL players do the exact same thing. The exact same thing that Montour did, and they don't get called for a penalty. I bet you Kucherov, Bergeron, McDavid, Savannah, Aho, I bet you if those players did what Montour did, they will not get called. They'll let it slide. But for us, we get called for a freaking penalty. And guess who scored in that one? I swear to God. It was David Pastrnak again. Pastrnak scores his second power play goal tonight against the Florida Panthers on the two bogus bullshit penalties given by the Florida Panthers, by Ekblad, by Montour. More importantly, the rest, I actually think they're in favor of them, honestly. But regardless, they take the lead 4-3, and I was pissed off about it. I thought for sure. It was at that moment, it was like, that's it. Pack our things. Let's go home. But some player came in clutch for us. And if it wasn't for him, I don't think we even win this game. It was, so, I swear to God, guess who scored this next goal? It was not Lo Serenen yet. It was not Sam Bennett. No. It was not Barkov. No. Matthew Tkachuk. No. I wish. Lo Serenen? No. Verhaeghe? Not even close. Not even close. Hornquist? No, he didn't even play. It was Zach Doubt from the fourth line. Zach Doubt, an AHL captain of the Charlotte Checkers. I think it's the Checkers. I'm pretty sure. And Charlotte Checkers is our AHL affiliates in Charlotte, North Carolina. He was their captain. Finally gets called up and plays for the Florida Panthers Major League team and scores his playoff goal that he'll never forget. First playoff goal. It's one thing if you score a playoff goal in the AHL, but in the NHL, that one he'll never forget. And it ties the game up too. So we're on a power play from a delay of game calls. And we committed a turnover, and we had a shorthanded goal. I slammed so hard on my table in frustration and anger of what happened in that goal. Jake DeBrusk was the one that scored on a shorthanded goal. They recaptured the lead 5-4 from that shorthanded goal. 25 seconds later, Matthew Tkachuk scores our power play goal to tie the game again, 5-5. 5-5. I'm like, what the fuck is this game? A neutral would be happy and excited about this game. And the fact that this was a close game, a lowest seed against the President's Trophy winners, it's literally David versus Goliath scenario. Think about this, right? Imagine if you are, let's say Inter Miami. I'm just giving a brief example. Inter Miami plays someone like LAFC, which is going to happen this season, and they're having one of the best battles ever, and no one's going to give up. The biggest underdog has to play better than the bigger team and try to win the game. You see what I'm saying here? The team that sucks most. I'm not saying the Panthers suck, because clearly they're showing that they don't. But the team with the least expectations going up against the team that has heavy expectations. It is a tight battle. However, the big note here is that the biggest underdogs, they have nothing to lose. So they play with everything they got. With that being said, after we tied the game, we found an opening from Brandon Montour, and it was Lo Serenen who takes the lead 6-5. Losterine comes in clutch and scores a goal for the Florida Panthers, 6-5. 6-5. And now we get nervous. We get nervous for the rest of the game because there will be 6.5 minutes, or actually no, 5.5 minutes left. 5.5 minutes left. We would have to defend with everything we got. No penalties, no bullshit. We need the defense. We need Bob Bobrovsky. And holy shit, Bob Bobrovsky came in clutch at the end of the game. We almost scored 7-5, but Olmark had to come back and save the puck, of course. But we finally got to the point where it was empty net. We just barely missed the empty net, and then the icing was cold. So we had to come back into that zone, and then, actually no, excuse me, there was none. They had to come back to the zone, and then the defense actually stepped up. But the bigger point here was Boston almost tied the game up again. They almost tied the game. Bobrovsky, biggest save of the season. Not compared to Game 5, but this one. It's saved, and it was ricocheted to Gudas and then to Reinhart, and Reinhart had to just chuck it to the wall. But the thing is, the puck ricocheted off the wall, and it goes to the back of the net to end the game, 7-5. 7-5. We won this game 7-5, and more importantly, we live to fight one more time at least, and we forced Game 7. We forced Game 7. The other night, the Miami Heat beat the Milwaukee Bucks to advance to the second round to play the New York Knicks. Tonight, we survive again, and we are going to play Game 7 in Boston. It is not going to be easy. It's really not going to be easy, and I'm nervous as fuck about that game. But I'll say this though: even if we don't win this one, I'll be proud to say that this was a great season. It is a season to remember. I will be happy with the how we played in the playoffs. The passion of the Florida Panthers shows me that they're not going to give up without a freaking fight, and they proved it time after time after time again. Even when things look this bad, even when we lost 2 games at home, even if it looks like we are nowhere near that we need to be, we somehow get it done to try to make this a memorable season, as has already happened. So many forwards that we have, not too many defensive. And this has been a struggle, especially against a team like Boston. But with that being said, Game 7. And honestly, let's go for it. Let's try to win Game 7. And we play the winner of Toronto and Tampa. If we play against Tampa, oh boy, there will be blood on the ice for the entire series. We want revenge so badly. But if we play Toronto as a fresh start too, we'll see what happens. We got to do our part. If we don't do our part, well, at least we tried. And that's going to do it for this video, folks. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content, because Miami TVG has it back. And when he does, he'll be right there with you for the entertainment you deserve. Go Panthers! And Game 7, nervous, but I'm cautiously optimistic. Good night, everybody.